Hello, beautiful people, and welcome to Rooted, the healing power and purpose of gardening. I'm so glad that you're here with me today, and whether you're already a plant lover or maybe you're just curious about where to start, you made the perfect choice by showing up. My name is Jewel Vaughn, and I help people reconnect with nature, their food, and themselves through the power of gardening. Gardening has been such a teacher in my life about patience, abundance, healing, and I can't wait to share that with you today. So let's go ahead and get right into it. So, why are we here today? Over the next hour, or maybe less for those of you that are just tuning in and you're not in the live webinar, we're going to explore three key things. Number one is why gardening is deeply therapeutic and spiritual. Number two, why it's necessary to know how to grow your own food in this economy. And number three, we're going to learn about the type of gardening that best fits your lifestyle, whether that's outdoor, indoor, hydroponic, raised beds, or maybe something in between. And don't worry if you're not familiar with these terms. We're definitely going to get into them here in a second. Oh, let me to scoot over because you can't see the thing here. Okay. All right. So if you are joining after the live webinar, that's perfectly fine. I still want to know, put it into the comment section. Where are you growing from? What part of the world are you joining us from today? And maybe what are you growing or what are you dreaming to grow? And it's really important because there's different time zones, and we're going to talk about that in part two because the time zones also indicate the zone that plants are best to grow in. For example, if you have tomatoes, it'll tell you the time of year to plant seed. It'll tell you the time of year to harvest, depending on where you're located. So, our next webinar, part two of the series, is going to talk about that. But I would love to know where you're from. That way, when I send out the materials, we can get some more specialized things to you. And then, of course, please tell me about some of the things you're thinking about growing. I've grown tomatoes, peppers, cucumbers, green beans. This is my latest muse. Different flowers and all sorts of things. So please comment down below. I'm interested to know what you're growing. All right. So now we're going to talk about why gardening is therapy and why gardening is a spiritual practice. So let's start with something I think we all feel, that peace when you get your hands in the soil or when you watch a seed sprout. Gardening is more than a hobby. It's therapy, it's meditation, it's medicine. For me, gardening is like prayer with my hands. The plants cry out to God for water. They're crying out for nutrients. They're crying out for sunlight, right? And I'm dispatched to answer their prayers. Every time I plant a seed, I'm reminded that growth takes faith. How can you possibly expect a big old potato to come from a tiny seed? Well, actually, potatoes come from sprouts, but you know what I mean. How can you expect a huge pumpkin to come from a seed not bigger than my pinky? You know? You can't see the roots as they're forming underground unless you do hydroponics. But you trust that they're there. And that's a life lesson. Sometimes you don't always see the work that's being done in the background, but you can see someone's fruit. And that's what it's like when you're gardening. Watching a plant teaches you patience, humility, and surrender. You can't rush nature as much as we can't rush nature, okay? You have to meet it where it is. And gardening invites you to flow with the seasons and not fight them. There's plenty of times that we as humans go through seasons, and I don't know about y'all, but I'll be pink, pink, pink. And gardening has taught me that the more I pink, 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 the longer the season lasts. So surrender. Surrender, surrender. If any of this is resonating with you, like you've experienced some of these things in your own gardening journey, or maybe you're excited, like, oh, what's that like? Comment down below. Let me know, and we'll definitely get into some deeper one-on-one conversations about these things. So, another thing that I want to talk to you all about is the ideal of mindfulness and presence. Think about it for a moment. When you're watering plants or pruning leaves, which just means cutting them back, you're forced to slow down. You're breathing deeper. You're present. That's mindfulness. That's meditation in motion. So now we're going to get into like some really fun science and health benefits. So, scientifically speaking, studies have shown that being around plants actually reduces cortisol levels. That's your stress hormone. It lowers anxiety, boosts your mood, and even helps with focus. There's something powerful about touching living things that depend on you for care. It reminds you that you're still connected to life. According to the British Journal of Sports Medicine, gardening can reduce the risk of heart attack and strokes by 30%. No, okay. Okay, so just looking at our lovely chart that we have here, it's an immunity booster because, you have direct exposure to dirt and plants. It can be a nice little workout, if you're doing it outdoors. Baby, you gonna bust a sweat. I don't care what the temperature is outside. You know what I'm saying? It's there. And then also brain health. One study revealed that daily gardening can reduce the risk of dementia by 36%, which is absolutely astounding. Okay. And then, of course, it makes you want to eat healthier because you're like, I just grew some cucumbers. I just grew some spinach. Let me make a salad. And you don't even like salads. So definitely helps encourage you to eat better. And then soil, y'all know I don't like dirt, but sometimes I need to get down and dirty because soil contains a natural antidepressant that can make us happier. How about that? How about that? So there's also this spiritual connection, and this is based on my own experience as well, um, and a few different studies. For example, a few daily gardeners in a UK study reported 6.6% higher well-being scores and a 4.2% lower stress level compared to people that didn't garden. You want to be happier? You want to be less stressed? Gardening is linked to a decrease in depression and anxiety. It enhances self-esteem, life satisfaction. It can help mitigate PTSD and reduce the effects of dementia, as I mentioned before. Mindfulness and peace is a huge part of the spiritual connection because the act of gardening encourages a meditative state, allowing people to be present and focus on the task at hand, which can lead to a quieter and more relaxed state of mind. There is this divine connection to nature because gardening fosters a connection to life's natural rhythms and the wonder of creation, which can be an spiritual experience in itself. Like whenever I'm, looking at the trees and the birds and the bees in the sky, it's like, God, you did that. You are so amazing. How did you think? And literally, and then even like looking at a little leaf, how did you put the design and the stems and the, but God, um, it's just so amazing. And then there's also accomplishment and purpose that's connected to gardening. Cultivating plants from seed to harvest. Come on now. It provides a tangible, like you can see it, touch it, feel it, smell it. It provides a tangible sense of accomplishment, control, and purpose, which boosts our confidence and self-esteem. Like, y'all, look at this. I'm gonna keep saying green beans because I love hydroponics. We'll learn about that later, but it's growing things in water. And I cannot believe I grew some green beans in water. But yeah, boost your confidence and self-esteem. And then there's also, of course, the social connection because different community gardens provide a shared space that builds a sense of belonging and social connection among people. So, like, if you've ever grown things, you'll realize I got all this food that I am not about to eat. So it encourages community, whether you're in an apartment building and you got neighbors like, I got some tomatoes. You hungry? Just anything. So it's so much connected to gardening that it doesn't even make sense how many different branches and portals that open up when you start to garden. And so it makes me wonder, what part of gardening feels most healing to you? Whether you've already started gardening or maybe you're just starting out on your gardening journey. What part of this is like, man, I want to experience that. You said that you could, and I want to have less stress. I want to feel more satisfied. I need to boost my confidence and self-esteem. Like, what part feels like it resonates most with you? Take a moment and think. Is it watching things bloom? Maybe just sitting in silence among the plants? What is it that resonates the most with you? Feel free to go ahead and put it into the chat or write it down in a journal or on a piece of paper next to you. What is it that would make your life more enjoyable that maybe you feel like is missing right now? Feel free to pause this playback and spend a little bit more time with it, but for the sake of time, we're going to move forward. Okay, there's also this idea of mirror and growth because the garden mirrors the gardener. Here's something I've learned. Every garden mirrors the gardener because if your life feels chaotic, your garden will reflect that until you bring order and attention to your life. If you're patient and nurturing, your plants thrive. Whatever you tend grows. Whatever you bind on earth shall be bound. Like, whatever you bind in your house, in your temple, will be bound in your garden. So, gardening isn't just about plants, it's about you. It's a mirror, a teacher, and a quiet healer. Mm, mm. If y'all want me to get a little more jiggy with that, comment down below and I'll be sure to make a whole video just on that because that in itself is so powerful. I remember a couple years ago before I started really gardening, like I had house plants and things like that, but I never really dabbled into food. But I remember I used to say, my spiritual health based on my plants. And I thought that was a flex, y'all. Like whenever my plants was need some water and they about to die. I'm like, yeah, I need to go pray. Yeah, I need to go fast. Like, I really thought that was a flex, but now I understand, you know, if I'm good, everything around me is good. Take care of my household and everything else falls into place. So, if y'all want some more information on that, please don't hesitate to comment down below because I could talk about that all day. Um, but we have some really good stuff to get into today, so let's continue. So, Um, when you think about why gardening is so important and why it's a step up just from having houseplants, it's because growing your food in today's world is so important. And now that we've talked about gardening and how it heals the mind and the spirit, let's talk about another kind of healing, security, food security. Because as beautiful as the spiritual side is, there's also a very practical reason we all need to learn to grow. In these uncertain times, this isn't just a passion project, it can possibly be a lifeline. So let's dive into some statistics. So the US, let me share a quick story with you real quick. So the US food prices rose about 23.6 to 29% over the past 5 years, from 2020 to about now. Almost 30% food prices have risen, have arisen. And groceries you once bought for $20 now cost 35, 45, 55 or more. Like, supply chains are fragile. And I know I'm making light of this because I'm just a really quirky person, but this is something that is very serious. Delays, shortages, unexpected inflation, these are becoming our new normals. Not to mention additives, preservatives, pesticides, recalls, which is an entirely different conversation in itself. We'll talk about that in part four of this series. But when you rely on these supermarkets, you're vulnerable to those swings in the market. But when you grow even a portion of your food, you start to gain resilience. You buffer yourself against price hikes, shortages, and uncertainty. And it also teaches your children the idea of, I want to say sustainability, but I feel like I use that word so much, but it really teaches your children like food don't just come from the stove. Food comes from God, you know, and the ability that He's placed within us to create and multiply and cultivate the land. So if you take a look at this chart here, um, it just shows you some of the changes in prices. Y'all see eggs on there, boy, that's funny, ain't it? No, it's not. So, when you look at dairy products, right now it looks like it's decreased, but just wait. Just wait. It's gonna go up. Fresh fruits, just wait. It's gonna go up. So, these cereals and bakery products and things like that that are already man-made-ish, they're not really going to fluctuate that much, but the staples that everybody needs, those are definitely going to increase. And then when you see these sugar and sweets here, the only reason why those are really increases is because they're in high demand. For some reason, people think that if they sad, lonely, busted, and disgusted, a Debbie cake gonna make them feel better. So consumerism, capitalism, they take advantage of that. Let me get off my soapbox and go to the next slide before I get in trouble. Okay, so this is an interesting breakdown of the US dollar. When you think about the numbers, a pack of seeds might cost $1 or 2. And if you're anything like me, you can go to the library and get you 2 packs of seeds for free. Do a nice little tour around the city. No, don't do that. But literally, a pack of seeds can be $1 or 2. A few dollars more for some soil or compost, or if you're anything like me, put it in a glass of water on a counter. But of course, you want to start it off in a napkin first. We'll talk about that in a different video. Um, and then your time. So to start growing your own food, couple dollars for a pack of seeds, couple dollars for something to put it in, and your time. But vegetables harvested, like lettuce, herbs, tomatoes, they might easily be worth 20 or $30 or more over a season. Over time, your garden pays for itself, and then it becomes net gain. So for something you spent $2, you spent $7. Now you got over $30 or more, depending on, if you like, hey y'all, I know the supermarket prices is rising. I got some tomatoes in the back of the lack. You want some? You can start slanging tomatoes. It's literally so much tied into your own garden. Like you can start selling to other people, you can start giving them away to other people, and it pays you so much more compared to the cost. The benefit outweighs the cost. So the return on investment isn't just financial. It's nutritional, it's emotional, and it's spiritual. And again, if you look at this dollar here, you can see farm production in itself is literally like 9 cents to the dollar. The biggest prices are the food services. It's the wholesale trade. It's the retail. It's the processing. The processing is what we don't even like anyway. So let me calm down. So it's all those middlemen in between from farm production to your table. You got advertising, finance, insurance, energy, transportation, packaging. Spend that 9.1 cent on your own and get your food and get your family to where y'all need to be. I keep trying to get on my soapbox, but I gotta remember, why are we here? I want you to understand the power of gardening. Okay, let me get into it. Okay. So when you think about food security and independence, imagine not being at the mercy of supermarket availability. Like, I don't wanna bring up COVID, but I'm gonna bring up COVID. When everything shut down, when you went to the store and shelves were cleared, y'all think that ain't gonna happen again? Imagine having fresh greens, herbs, or vegetables in supply chain disruptions. That's food security. It's about independence. You become your own supplier. You could get high off your own supply. You reduce your dependency and you build capacity within yourself and your household. When you grow your own food, you decide what goes into the soil. You ain't got all these unknown chemicals, hidden pesticides, and microplastics, whatever people want to talk about. You harvest fresh fruit, fresh vegetables, fresh at peak nutrient value. So I take vitamins and I take supplements. If you've seen my YouTube channel, you've seen some of the things that I take. And the reason I take that is because I'm not getting enough of it from the things that I eat. Why is that? Processing, packaging, shipment, all the things that need to go on this produce to make sure that it's a pretty color when it gets in your hands. When in reality, that thing been around for months. You strengthen your diet. You're eating more greens, you're eating more herbs, fresh produce, and you're eating it more often. So you're not simply saving money, you're investing in your health. Hmm. Gardening. God gave us something. He gave us something so beautiful. The ability to put a seed in the ground and it just boop, 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 multiply. Mm. Mm. Mm, 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 mm. And then, of course, there's this idea of community and legacy. It's a ripple effect. When one person starts gardening, they often share their produce or share their knowledge with neighbors, families, and friends, and the community benefits. You also build legacy skills. You can teach your children, your younger relatives, and your neighbors how to grow. You revive ancestral knowledge. You unlock things within your DNA that may have been hidden, and you contribute to a more resilient local food ecosystem. The National Garden Bureau did a study that says 90% of food concerns were lowered with a community garden. Imagine what could happen in different communities across America and different communities across the world if there were no food concerns. All this information going on about um, SNAP benefits and just imagine. This is an outdoor community garden. I've seen plenty of outdoor community gardens, but imagine if there were some indoor community gardens that were able to be serviced year round. Year round, they could have tomatoes, cucumbers, potatoes, spinach, kale, lettuce, onions. Just imagine 90% of food concerns were lowered with a community garden. Now, we're going to get into some of the more technical parts of this because you don't have to convert your whole yard tomorrow. Like, start small. One herb pot on the windowsill, literally, if you go to the grocery store, you've seen them. They got the basil, they got the mint. Like you've seen the herb pots that they have. Just grab one of them babies, message me like, Jewel, how do I take care of this? And I got you. You could have a few salad greens in a container. I have a couple, excuse me. If you're a part of the Jewel Von Jewels Facebook group, I have different raffles every month. It's free to enter. Every month, I'm giving away different plants. Right now, we have some different butterhead lettuce, um, my green beans, they about to go there too. We have some pepper plants, some radish. Every month, we're raffling off plants, and you can get you some for free. A tomato plant that you can have microgreens, which are literally, you get y'all like Chinese food? You get one of them old containers from Chinese food place, or, because microplastics, but get you a container. And it could be a tuna can for all I care. Get you a container and you put a little coconut coir in there, and then you put the microgreen seed in there. Go check my YouTube. I got a video. And whenever you're ready to eat, you just take some scissors, boop, 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 put it on a salad, put it on a burger, put it on a wrap. Step one, small steps matter. Every single plant you grow is a step toward greater food freedom. You ain't got to buy the 50 acres in you don't need all that right now. Just start small. Let's get into some more, some more. So, don't look at this picture because it'll make your mouth water. But what is one vegetable, herb, fruit? Like, What's something you would love to grow for yourself? Think about like what do you find yourself buying all the time at the grocery store? Is it red pepper, yellow pepper, green onions, onions? For me, I love cilantro. Some people got that soap gene where cilantro tastes like soap. I got the yum gene where cilantro is yummy. I don't care. I like it on everything. Dill. I love dill on any and everything. So comment down below. Let me know, like, what's one thing that you would love to grow for yourself? And don't worry about space or experience. Dream big for a moment. Don't be like, well, I wanna, but no, dream big. Green tea, chamomile. I ain't gonna lie, I got some chamomile growing over there. Um, Basil, okra, spinach, mint. Dream big for a moment. Because let's be real, I know what some of y'all are probably thinking. I don't have a yard. I ain't got time for that. I don't know how to start. These are real and valid concerns, okay? And we're going to address them. We'll address them in the next section. We're going to talk about choosing the right garden type for you, all of that. But know this. There is always a way. There is almost always a way, whether through containers, indoor gardening, hydroponics, shared community garden plots, just there's almost always a way. So you've seen why growing food is so powerful, practically, spiritually. But now we're going to talk about how to decide which gardening method fits your life. And that's coming up now. That's what we're going to talk about right now because your garden should complement your life, not complicate it, complement it. Okay, so we're going to explore the options. Let's see here. All right, boom. So think about you. Think about your life. Think about you got kids, you got a husband, you got a wife, whatever it is. You got a dog, cat, fish, whatever it is. Think about, do you have a house? Do you have an apartment? Do you have a roommate? Are you in a college dorm? Are you in whatever? What kind of space do you have? Got a balcony? Got a windowsill? Got a kitchen counter? How many hours per week can you commit to this garden? Like, if you think about your day, like, okay, I wake up and I could water something. I could brush my teeth and then I could go water the plants. Or, I guess before I go to bed, I could make sure they high. Like think about your life. Reflect on your life. Ask yourself, how much space do I have? How much time can I realistically dedicate to this? And why am I growing? Is it for therapy? Is it for food? Is it because it's pretty and I want to grow for beauty? Or is it all of it? Knowing these answers makes these next few steps simple and it keeps you on because there's been plenty of times where we've all done it. We start something, we're so excited, like, yeah, we about that God. And week two, hey, I don't know what to tell you. Like knowing your why of why you're growing is really going to keep you trucking. Is it because, I just really want a peace of mind. I want to be more confident, have more self-esteem. I want to be more sure of myself. I want a deeper connection with God and nature. So I'm going to do this even when I don't feel like it, similar to working out. Or is it, hey, look, we gotta eat. We gotta eat. So don't work, you don't eat. Like, know your reasons. Know your reasons because, like I said, it's going to really keep you in it. It's going to keep you going and it's going to sustain you while you're sustaining you. Okay, so first thing we're going to talk about is the idea of an outdoor in-ground garden. Outdoor, so it's outside, but it's in the ground. Okay, it requires you to have yard space. You got to have some type of ground to put it in the ground. You need full sun exposure. So don't be like, well, I got a nice shade tree in the back. I ain't really doing it. And it's great to have this outdoor in garden because you can have a larger harvest and there can be more community involvement with it, right? And it's excellent for connecting with nature because it's what you got. It is what it is. But I want you to be mindful because sometimes you're going to have to do soil quality checks because, like, for instance, if you live in Ohio, it's a lot of clay type of soil, and clay type of soil isn't really good for a lot of different plants, but depending on what you want to plant, it is. So please comment down below. Please send me your email. Let me know, like, yeah, I really want to do an outdoor in-ground garden, but I don't know, like, what type of things how can you help me best make this decision? What should I be considering? And I'll really go into the pros, the cons, the you might want to think about that, and you might want to think about that. Like, we'll go into all of that as we go through these examples. If one of them is really standing out to you, don't hesitate to message me like, Jewel, I really loved what you said about the outdoor in-ground garden. How can we get started? My pleasure. I'll help you. The next one we're going to talk about is raised bed gardens. So this is similar because it's still outside. I know in this picture it looks indoors, but it's like a greenhouse to keep all the heat in this specific picture. But if you look here, yeah, let that. If you look right here, you can see that it's not in the ground, but it's in a raised bed. And one of the things, what I mentioned about the in ground is you have to, adjust the soil. When you do a raised bed one, you set the soil. So it's easy to manage, easy to organize. It's great for small to medium spaces. So maybe you don't have that large yard or large acreage of land to really use. It's great for those. And then it reduces your back strain because you can elevate it as high as you need to, and you're not literally hunched over in the ground the whole time. So that's really cool. You can have like one of those little footstool somethings to sit in, and it makes it really cool for that too. And you can extend your growing season. As you see in this picture, they have that film around it, which keeps the heat in because the plants are not directly in the ground. So when the ground freezes, it still is able to create some produce. So it's perfect if you want structure, easy maintenance, and better soil control. You can build them almost anywhere. You can put it in a backyard, a community plot, or you can even, like, if you have a roof deck, you can even put it up there. And they're visually appealing and very easy to customize. So if a raised bed garden is something that you're like, I like how that sound, comment down below, send me an email, and baby, we will get you started. Okay? Because is lit. I personally, I like the idea of the raised bed gardens if I was to do anything outside. There's also the idea of container gardening. It's perfect for balconies, patios, or any type of indoor setups. I have a few different container gardening options where I'm living, like I do that. And when I raffle off some plants that I mentioned in our Facebook group, Jewel Von Jules, they are container plants. So they're in maybe 3-gallon buckets or in grow bags or something like that. That's how I auction them off. And then we also have hydroponics, but container gardening. And it's ideal for herbs, small veggies, and ornamental plants. So it's for people with limited space. Container gardening is for people with limited space and those who love flexibility. Like, I know, like, every like quarterly, sometimes I just rearrange the whole house. I rearrange, and with them containers, pick up the bag, just, rearrange the patio, rearrange the area. Very good with flexibility. You can move your plants around to make sure that they chase the sun. So if they're not getting as much sunlight during these months, they can get them, you can move it around, protect them from weather. So, like, once it starts getting cold outside, if you want to take your plants off the patio and bring them in the house, you can redecorate your space. And it's also beginner friendly. We love that. So if container gardening is something that's really interesting you, please comment down below, let me know, and we gonna get you going. I got you. And then there's also indoor gardening. And the reason why it's different from container gardening is just because you don't always have to have the big grow bags and things like that. It can be year-round growing herbs, microgreens, small vegetables, and it requires some type of lighting solutions and humidity controls. So, I have grow lights and things like that on the website, and I've talked about them throughout the YouTube videos. You want to make sure that you get you a good grow light, and then humidity control would also be something like the temperature indoors or what type of room you have it in, all that good stuff. And indoor gardening is great for people that live in cities or people that are in apartments or anyone who wants year-round greenery. You can grow herbs on your kitchen counter. You can have microgreens for daily salads or small veggies with LED lights. This method keeps your garden literally in your hands all day, every day. So if this is something that's really interesting you, comment down below. We're gonna get you set up. The next one we're going to talk about is hydroponic garden. And y'all, this one is my favorite. I love hydroponics. I think it's so cool because it's like magic. It uses water and nutrient solutions and not soil, right? It's faster growth. You have more control. It's space efficient. It's scalable and it's tech friendly. Okay, let me calm down. So when I say it's scalable, there is this, so what you see there is they're horizontal, but there's this idea of vertical gardening. So you don't have to take up a bunch of space. You can just build it upwards. Tech savvy. The hydroponic system that I built has like it has automatic shut off at a certain time. It waters the plants automatically for me. If I'm traveling, I got a camera on it. I can see what's going on. Like it's one of those literally no mess, no fuss, no thinking, just do your thing. I'll come snip and eat you when you're ready. So it's I love hydroponic gardens. It's futuristic, right? No soil, no heavy lifting, fast growth because it has that nutrient solution. So it's like plant food that feeds your food. And if you love technology, clean growing systems, and want to maximize yield in minimum space, hydroponics can be your perfect match. It's especially great for indoors and urban setup. So I sound like a salesperson. But if you like hydroponic garden, comment down below, send me a message. We're gonna get you set up. Whew. So time plus space plus your goals. That's going to give you the best garden type, okay? It's literally a simple framework. Consider your time, consider your space, and consider your goals. The intersection of these three factors points to the best type of gardening for you. For example, if you're a busy person that lives in a city, get you some hydroponics. Do your little indoor garden on your windowsill. If you have a family with a backyard, it might be nice to have raised beds or an outdoor plot. And if you have like a small apartment, get you some containers or like an indoor herb garden or something. This approach removes the guesswork and it makes sure that your garden thrives along with your lifestyle. Again, we want it to complement and not complicate. All right? So, if you are watching this playback, please go ahead and take a moment to pull out a piece of paper or something that you can write notes on and press pause once I get done speaking because you want to take a moment to write down which type of gardening resonates with you and why. Feel free to replay this back, again to the types, maybe drop it in the chat. Think about your space, your goals, and your schedule because the right choice isn't about trends. It's not about Insta photos. It ain't even about what I like. It's about you and your life. Okay? It's about just take a moment, press pause on this video, rewind it back if you need to, and go ahead and press play when you're ready. All right. Next, we're going to talk about planning to action. Now that you've discovered which type of garden fits your lifestyle, it's time for questions. I want to hear about your challenges, your space, your goals, and I want to give you actionable advice to start growing and growing with confidence, y'all. Okay? So, comment down below, send me an email, whatever needs to happen, because we've explored why gardening matters and how to choose the right method for your lifestyle. It's time for something interactive. It's time to really get started. This is where we get personal and we get practical. Okay? What's one of the biggest challenges that you have right now? I'd love to know. And especially when it comes to gardening, do you just be like, I ain't got no space. I don't have time. I don't know which plants to grow. Or maybe you don't even know where to begin. Don't be shy because your questions can help someone else too. So feel free to put it into the chat or you can private message me and send me an email. Like how do we start with limited space? Which plants are easiest for beginners? What grows faster, indoor or outdoor? What's some time management for people that are busy? These are questions that people have asked me. Let me see. Okay, so let me start over. People have asked me, okay, limited space. What should we do? And I'm like, go vertical. Get some container gardens, get some shelves for herbs, some hydroponics, because every square foot counts. When it comes to beginner plants, do herbs like basil, mint, or salad greens. They're fast growing, they're forgiving, and they're satisfying. Should you do indoor or outdoor? I mean, outdoor gives bigger harvest, but it needs weather and space. Indoor is controlled year round and flexible. Time management, start small. Automate where possible. Like I said, get that self-watering. There's self-watering containers with like the rope in it. I can teach you how to set that up if you want me to. And there's some drip systems and 15 to 20 minutes a day. It adds up and it gets the job done. Okay, gardening isn't just about problems, it's about victories. So, anytime that you face a problem, it's so that we can get creative and get some solutions. And I'm here to help with all of the solutions. So, comment down below, reach out to me. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. And good luck on your journey. And always remember to have grace with yourself and the world around you. Bye.